Welcome to the Zen of Reffing Roller Derby, Lesson 16, Advanced Scoring, now updated for the 2019 rule set. I'm Axis Estival, the author of the training manual. I'm filming this on May 8th, 2019. The content of this presentation is up to date as of that recording. Should this video become outdated, or when it's replaced by a newer version, I'll put a link on the screen to where you can find more information. As always, you can find the latest version of the full training manual at www.tinyurl.com/zenreffing. Two quick disclaimers. The WFTDA, MRDA, and JRDA are not responsible for the content of this training manual or this presentation, nor do they make any claims as to the accuracy of its content. And also, though I'm a member of the WFTDA Rules Committee, I am not speaking on their behalf, nor have they reviewed the information in this lesson. One final note, if you spot any errors or outdated information in the presentation, please put a comment on YouTube explaining the issue and listing the time code. And sorry about the flares in the windows in the background. I'm recording this in the middle of the afternoon, and boy, is it a sunny day outside. All right, I am back here with Erdum now. And by the way, I have three monitors on my computer. I've got my monitor showing what I'm recording over here, I've got Erdum over here, and I have all my notes over here. So if you see me kind of looking back and forth during the presentation, I apologize, hope it's not too distracting. All right, 6 ways to score a point. Now first, the good news. It used to be 8 ways. In the last rule set, it was 7 ways. You're down to 6. This used to be the party trick at my league. I'd make all my referees memorize all 6 ways and recite them on demand. You should be able to do this too. It is very important, no matter what position you are, that you understand exactly how to score a point. Because even if you're an outside pack referee, you may spot a point being missed, well, kind of an obscure scoring rule. And if you could skate right over to the jammer referee and say, hey, there was a blocker ahead of the engagement, blah, 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 like that, the jammer ref might go, oh, thank you, because they're going to instantly, they should at least instantly understand what you're saying, and you're going to look really cool for being able to help them. So learn this stuff. It is very important. All right, number 1, passing an opposing blocker at the hips. All right, your yellow jammer. Here's purple 2 over here. Yellow jammer just skates past them. Simple. That's the classic way to score a point in this. It does not matter if purple 2 is upright. It doesn't matter if purple 2 is out of bounds. Purple 2, as long as yellow jammer just skates past them, the point is gained. Simple. Number 2, an opponent who skates clockwise past a down jammer. So imagine yellow jammer is down. They're on their knees for whatever reason. They just got, say, knocked down by the pivot over here. And purple 2, here we go, move that over. Purple 2 just suddenly skates clockwise past them. Point gained, like that. Remember, in roller derby, we want blockers to defend their points by staying ahead of the jammer. That's not what the blocker's doing in this case. So if we did not award the point, now yellow jammer has to start chasing purple 2 clockwise, and now they're it's making a mess. They're trying to get through the pack, and purple 2 is still running, and yellow jammer's going. This is not the direction in which the game is meant to be played. So no, we want we're going to give that point. Purple 2, everybody's moving out of bounds here. Purple 2 had their opportunity to defend their superior position. All they had to do was just stay there. They did not. They skated clockwise. So we're going to immediately award that point to yellow jammer. Number 3, not on the track points. Okay, people like to list these as all separate ways. No, it's actually just one thing. As we said, if a skater wants to defend their point, against a jammer, they need to stay ahead, upright and ahead of the jammer. If they're not upright and ahead of the jammer, they need to have made sure that the jammer got past them in a way that did not earn the pass. For example, we've talked about this before. Purple 1 blocks yellow jammer out of bounds. Purple 1 goes out of bounds. Yellow jammer comes back in. Okay, fine. So yellow jammer's ahead, but they didn't earn their point. But now, what happens when purple 1, for example, is sent to the penalty box? Well, in theory, yellow jammer completes their scoring trip, but they've never actually passed them like that. But purple 1's sitting in the box. That is not a legal place to defend their penalty, to defend their point. Therefore, we're going to consider them what's called a not point. N-O-T-T, not on the track. If a skater is not on the track, and by the way, I don't just mean just sitting out of bounds. I mean really not on the track. Then we're going to immediately award their point, to yellow jammer upon the first point of that scoring trip being earned. So let me explain what I mean. Let's say this is a scoring trip, okay? And don't mind, it's a stupid defensive position there. Let's just answer there. So here comes Yellow Jammer on their first scoring trip. They're coming in. Yellow Jammer manages to pass Purple 3. In the instant they pass Purple 3, not only did they get 1 point, remember, because they just passed an opposing Jammer at the hips, they also instantly get that not point for Purple 1 as well. NOTT, not on the track. They're not on the track. They get that point as soon as they trigger these not points. So they get that. So then you pass them, they get out with 4. Now there are other types of not points as well. So, like, for example, let's say Purple 1 is on the track, but they've been called on a penalty. So they're going to the box when Yellow Jammer here kind of whizzes by and triggers the not points. So they're not off the track yet. So yes, they're technically on the track, but they've gotten a penalty. So we're considering them in the box, you know, kind of for penalty purposes or for scoring purposes. So they're not actually on the track. They have no position. They can't cause cuts. You know, like they have surrendered their position. They're on their way to the box. So we're going to consider them not on the track. Boom, they get a point. Same thing. If they're here, but they're skating on their way to the box, boom, Yellow Jammer passes Purple 3. They trigger not points. They get Purple 1. Now, remember we talked about our little, like, has to make sure that they either defend their point by staying ahead or that they pass them in a way that does not earn credit for the pass. And I showed that little demo with Yellow Jammer getting knocked out of bounds. So let's say Yellow Jammer gets knocked out of bounds by Purple 3. Purple 3 follows. Yellow Jammer then re-enters the track. The Yellow Jammer did not earn a legal pass on Purple 3. Therefore, not points are not triggered. Yellow Jammer is going to have to go and get past Purple 2. Oops, my pack disappeared. Okay, Yellow Jammer is going to have to get past Purple 2, earn that not point, in order to also gain the point on Purple 1. All right, other types of not points here. Let's see. Oh, yes. Let's say Purple 1 here is not in the penalty box, but they're injured. And they've withdrawn from the jam. They've crawled off the track. They're sitting way over here, maybe even on the inside. It really doesn't matter. They clearly have withdrawn from the jam due to injury. They're not participating. So now I don't mean that they're just slightly winded, that they just stepped off the track by 1 foot and they're just kind of getting their breath back. We're going to treat them as out of bounds in that case. No, I mean like they've crawled off. They hurt their knee or their ankle. They said, no, don't stop. Keep going, whatever. They've crawled off the track. They've moved out of the way. They're not a safety hazard. We don't have to call the jam. They're not on the track. Therefore, boom. Yellow Jammer just earned a point for Purple 1 at the same time. Similarly, an opponent who never took the track. They're still back on the bench. They've only fielded 3 blockers. Boom. Yellow Jammer comes in, passes Purple 3, instantly gets credit for Purple 1 as well. Why? Because you're supposed to field 4 blockers. We're not going to allow you to have a jam with 1 blocker, and now Yellow Jammer can only get 1 point per scoring trip. That would be a sneaky little loophole if you wanted to, keep your opponent from getting too many points during the game. So, but no, that is not how the game works. Instead, they're going to get the point for Purple 1 over there because Purple 1 never took the field in the first place. So as soon as not points are triggered, boom, there's a point, extra point earned. All right, next. Opponents who have left the track temporarily due to equipment or skate issues. So Purple 1, boom, their truck breaks and they skate off the track. Or maybe even just their toe stop fell off and they skate off and they're doing some skate repair. They're not going to be back for a little bit. They're trying to get it to work. Now, this is not to mean like tying shoelaces. They're just off the track. If it's tying shoelaces, treat them as out of bounds. Otherwise, use your judgment. Is this something they're going to be back in just momentarily on, or they're out for a little bit? Like, if the pack was moving, it might have gone around a couple of times during the time. Use your judgment here. If they're clearly off the track because they're not coming back for a while, or maybe not even at all because of their skate problem, then they're considered a not point. Finally, we have an unusual type of not point. An opponent who was in the box who returns to the track behind the jammer. Now, consider this. Okay, Yellow's coming in on their scoring trip. Purple 1 is coming back from the box. Purple 1, goes past Yellow Jammer. We're not even though they're wandering in the out of bounds area. They're coming back. They're trying to come back to the track and enter legally. We're not going to consider them a not point yet. I'm sorry. We're not going to consider them to be passable at the hips to get that point. Whereas they're still a not point. They have not returned to play. Well, they've now returned to the track, but remember they did not defend their point by staying ahead of yellow jammer. So until they can get their butt back ahead, well, their hips actually ahead of yellow jammer, they're a not point. So even though this person is now skating through the pack, getting up there, there's still a not point. And boom, yellow jammer has just gotten their point. Why do we do this? For the same reason before, we don't want purple 1 hanging out in the very back edge of the engagement zone, and now if yellow jammer wants their point, they have to skate clockwise and repass them like that. We really don't want to encourage jammers to skate clockwise. They can if they want to, but the rules are not designed to encourage this. So, yeah, if the purple 1 comes back from the box, and by the way, that could also be back from, being off the track for a while due to equipment failure, being off the track for a while due to injury, whatever, they come back, and yellow jammer goes past purple 2, bam, they immediately score a not point on purple 1. One more note on not points. To trigger not points, that does not have to be a pass at the hips. That can be a point earned in any other way. So, for example, yellow jammer falls down. Purple 2 skates clockwise past yellow jammer. That's good enough right there. We're going to consider, okay, that point has, the point for purple 2 has been earned. That will instantly trigger that not point on purple 1 who's just re-entered the track. So, boom, that's 2 points right there. Yellow jammer can get up and continue on. They don't have to skate clockwise to chase either of them. There are some other ways a point can be scored too. This will work with any of those as well. Let's see. Okay, a few little obscure scoring rules for you. If a scoring trip presents no opportunity for a jammer to score because all opposing blockers are illegally defending their point, all not points are earned at the end of a scoring trip. All right, well, what does that mean? Okay. Let's take this case for a little bit. Okay, purple jammer, we'll just set them there. They don't really matter. Okay. At the beginning of a scoring trip, there we go, put these two like there. At the beginning of a scoring trip, yellow jammer is, I'm going to set that one there, it doesn't really matter. Okay, yellow jammer is coming in on a fresh scoring trip. We have 2 blockers over here in the penalty box. So yellow has gotten no points, no points, no points. These 2 now return behind yellow jammer. Okay, so they're not points waiting to be had, but yellow jammer is not actually triggered and earned them. Suddenly, boom, purple 1 gets let's say a forearm penalty. So now they're on their way to the box, they're considered a penalty, they leave the track. And purple 3, I don't know, say destroys the pack, just skates off the track for no reason. So boom, they get a penalty, now they're on their way to the box. Yellow jammer then skates up, these 2 go to the box. Yellow jammer exits their scoring trip. Yellow jammer never earned the not points on these 2, never got points on those 2. All 4 of them have managed to illegally defend their points, so the yellow completed the scoring trip without ever getting anything. In some old days of Derby, no points would be given. We would say, I actually had to tell a coach who was very upset and did not understand why he got 0 points. I said, this is a sucks to be you situation. Sorry, it's a loophole in the rules. You got 0 points for it. And that was correct at the time, although certainly really crappy for the jammer and for the team, and perhaps not in line with what the spirit of the rules are. So now this has been codified into the rules. If that yellow jammer manages to get out, all 4 purple blockers have illegally defended their point, boom, immediate 4 points are earned. Don't even necessarily treat them all as 4 points, just boom. Or, I'm sorry, as 4 not points that needed to be triggered, just boom, all 4 immediately earned. All right, here's another one. Once, or I should say, another little clarification on not points. Once not points are awarded, the jammer automatically receives a point for any unscored upon blocker who becomes a not point. What do I mean by that? I will show you here. Okay, fresh scoring trip here. Yellow jammer comes in. They've scored on purple 1, so they've triggered not points, but none of these 3 are not points yet. So there's, so yellow jammer earns 1 point. Suddenly, purple 2, I don't know, let's say they forearm purple 3, yellow 3 falls down. Purple 2 gets called on a penalty. As soon as they get called on that penalty, if they get called in this instant, purple 2 is now a not point because they're leaving the track. Even though they were not a not point at the time yellow jammer passed their hips, they've become a not point after. Not points have already been earned, therefore the point for purple 2's end instantly. So if the jam ended in this moment, purple 2's point would immediately be earned. Now, let this be a little lesson for the jammer referees out there. At the end of a jam, you really want to hold your points up fast. So you might hold up 1 point, but then suddenly you hear this, because it takes a second, because maybe this was during the four call-off whistles that the forearm occurred. Suddenly, purple 2 is issued a penalty. You're going to have to very quickly add that second point and make sure your scorekeeper sees it. You are correct to hold up that 1 point, but it took a second or two for that for new information to come into you that a new not point had been available. So yeah, so make sure your scorekeeper gets that. And then hold up 2 points and hold that up for a nice long time so the audience, announcers, everybody can see it, because you want to make sure that everybody is on the same page, that 2 points were earned, not 1. Finally, not points that are not earned because the jammer was in the box or not wearing the star are earned once the jammer is able to score again. Okay, imagine this. Yellow jammer's coming through, fresh scoring trip. Yellow jammer earns 1 point. Yellow jammer gets, I don't know, let's say stuck over here for a little bit. So yellow jammer elects to remove their star. They are no longer wearing the star, cannot earn points. Purple 2 is sent to the box. That's a not point. Yellow jammer cannot earn any new points right now because they're not wearing that star. So you're going to hold that point in abeyance. So meaning just kind of make a mental note that that is a potential not point, but it has not been earned. If yellow jammer then puts the star back on their head and then calls off the jam, as soon as that star is back on their head, they earn the point for purple 2. So again, let me go over this. Not points are earned. Star is removed. Penalty occurs. Purple 2 leaves the track. Yellow jammer puts the cover back on, calls off the jam. They get 2 points. If yellow jammer had not put the cover on and just called off the jam, then yellow jammer would only get 1 because purple 2's not point was held in abeyance. It had not been earned. This can also occur because the jammer went to the penalty box. So, for example, fresh scoring trip, purple 1 has been passed, yellow jammer goes to the box. Purple 2 gets a penalty and goes to the box over there. They can't get anything right now. As soon as yellow jammer returns to the track, they can get purple 2's points, because purple 2 has to basically return to the track. They have to be eligible to get that point. Not points, like I said, are not earned because the jammer was in the box or not wearing the star. They are earned once the jammer is able to score again. They are able to score once, I should say back here, once the jammer re-enters the track. All right, next, number 4. Out of play blockers at the front of the engagement zone when the jammer completes a trip through the pack by exiting the front of the engagement zone. All right, imagine this. Yellow jammer, this is a fresh scoring trip. Yellow jammer gets through, 2 points. They're over here. This person opts to kind of bridge. Yellow jammer gets the 3rd. This person's doing a really good job of staying in front. They're staying in front. They're trying to get through. The out of play goes up. And the jammer immediately exits the engagement zone. Boom. Well, technically speaking, or keep in mind, this person has not legally defended their point. They were supposed to be in the engagement zone when they did so. Now, you could argue from an absolutely strict point of view that, well, this jammer has exited the engagement zone, therefore that scoring trip is complete. They'd only ever gotten 3 points, so therefore they don't get the 4th point. This would count as a pass on the next scoring trip. No. That's bad rules interpretation, because purple 2 is belonging, or was supposed to be, part of the prior scoring trip. They did not legally defend their point, therefore we're going to give that point up to yellow jammer. And so when yellow jammer passes them, that's does not count as a pass, or it's like a point earned on the next scoring trip, because purple 2 was considered to be belonging to the prior scoring trip. So again, as soon as you hear that out of play go up and yellow jammer steps out of the engagement zone, boom, they instantly earn that point. This is also significant because you can get a case where you get say there's just a couple seconds left on the game on the jam clock. Purple 2 looks up. They notice, oh wow, there's only like 2 seconds left, and they suddenly race out the front of the engagement zone, and the jam ends before yellow jammer can get out of the engagement zone. Well, yellow jammer never got out. It's not the end of a scoring trip in that respect. But on the flip side, Purple 2 did not legally defend their point. So this is number 5. Out of play blockers to the front of the engagement zone when the jam ends. And this is the one, by the way, if you are that referee, the OPR who notices this, or, maybe even this was, like a crazy little action up here, with them trying to stop Purple Jammer, and this person was trying to help us. I've seen this before, where at the end of the, where this is what the end of the jam looks like. Yellow Jammer has gotten these 2 points. These are all, I should move them up here. These are all out of the engagement zone. It is very easy for the Jammer referee to say, oh, they scored 2 points, like that. That's not actually true. If you're the other OPR and you're kind of up here and you notice, aha, there was someone ahead of the the engagement zone, you skate in after the jam. You tell that that yellow Jammer referee, hey, there was a purple blocker ahead of the engagement zone. Yellow Jammer ref's going to go, ooh, thank you. They're going to correct their points to 3, and as I said, you're going to look really cool. It's this is a scoring rule. I don't want to. It's fairly obscure, like in that it doesn't happen all the time. If it does, it's usually because like it's the end of a scoring scoring trip and the jam, or it's pretty close to this, and the Jammer's ref is right there and they notice this. So it's obscure in as much as when the situation is different, and when they're like what I just showed a minute ago, and these are all ahead, and Yellow Jam referee's not even really thinking ahead of the engagement zone, because let's face it, in a case like this, normally Purple 2 is going to be back here trying to defend this point. So they don't normally think to look ahead of the engagement zone. So, yeah, make sure you get this one. It's an obscure situation like this, but you're going to look really great if you're the Jam referee or if you're the OPR or whomever. Make sure this gets done correctly. And finally, number 6, a jammer who returns to the track from the penalty box ahead of an out of play in the rear blocker. Okay, consider this. Let's say this is a fresh scoring trip. And here comes in Yellow Jammer is in the box. Yellow Jammer is going to be coming back from the box soon. So Purple 3 decides, oh, I'm just going to, have to tie my skates here on the track. And so, of course, the pack continues on, and so Purple blockers all the way over here, and now they get their skates tied. And so now they're skating forward, and Yellow Jammer returns, right back in here. Well, Purple 3 is not legally defending their point. We do not want Yellow Jammer skating clockwise against Purple 3 slowly moving back to the pack. They're, trying to get that point. Remember, we do not want, the rules do not encourage jammers to skate clockwise. They may choose to. But they're not pushed to. They're not encouraged. They're not forced. So yeah. So as soon as the jammer re-enters the track, boom, they get the point on Purple 3. This is because there's a blocker a blocker behind the engagement zone when the jammer returns to the track from the box. So yeah, they did not legally defend their point. So we're going to give the point up. If Purple 3 wants to hold it, they're going to have to stay in front. None of these silly little shenanigans like skating halfway around the track behind the pack. Like that. That's not how the game is played. So there you go. There are your 6 ways to score a point. Memorize them. Passing an opposing blocker at the hips. Opponent who skates clockwise past a down jammer. Not points. Out of play blockers to the front of the engagement zone when the jammer completes a trip through the pack. Out of play blockers to the front of the engagement zone when the jam ends. And a jammer who returns from the penalty box ahead of an out of play blocker in the rear. Those are all 6. Memorize them. You really want to know this, even if you never want to jam ref in a game in your life. It's important you know this. All right, that concludes lesson 16. I'll be back in lesson 17 in a few minutes to talk about Introduction to Penalties.